Hi, everybody. Welcome back to One Ride on this Roller Coaster. Today, I want to talk about. Uh, Last time I talked about traveling with kids and electronics. Today, I want to talk about traveling with kids and food. It can be tricky. We know that kids are picky eaters, um, and also when you go through the airport, we know that it can be it can be a little pricey if you're stopping at a restaurant or something like that to pick up a bite to eat. So here's some tips on what you can do to kind of cut down on the cost, what you can take through security. And lastly, what I'm going to talk about is something that I never had to deal with because Katrina and I never traveled with the kids when they were young. Formula, juices, things like that. So, I've basically what I've done is I've pulled some information off of the TSA site, as well as just word of mouth, some experiences that other people have had. Hopefully, help you travel a little bit easier through um, TSA security with breast milk and juices, things like that. First, I want to talk about traveling with snacks. A couple of years ago, there were some things that were coming out from TSA saying that you weren't allowed to travel with food anymore through security. There were some that were letting you through, some that weren't. So it really kind of depended on what airport you were going through. But I think they've kind of hammered it out now, made it a little bit more consistent. So what you are able to do is um, take food with you through security, snacks. Big thing for Maverick is he loves goldfish. He eats pretzels. So those are things that we can take with him, especially if you're traveling with children that are very particular about. They have to be a certain type, have to be shaped a certain way. Maverick in particular, it's the pretzel sticks, the small ones. He won't eat pretzel shaped pretzels or anything bigger than the small pretzel sticks. He'll look at them and he just won't touch them. Goldfish is another one. Something easy for you to carry through. You're able to carry in your bag. That's like recommend carrying a backpack or a drawstring bag that you can keep your snacks in. It goes under the seat in front of you. You're able to get to them whenever your kid's hungry. So don't be nervous about taking anything like that through security. Everything should be fine. As far as eating in the airport, most of your airports are going to have things like McDonald's, Chick Fil A, and then you might find some local restaurants. And just like everything else, they're going to have a kids menu. What you have to be mindful of is that the prices are going to be elevated. You're at the airport. They know that you can't go anywhere else to get something to eat, so you're basically stuck with their prices if you truly want to get something. So keep that in mind. One of the one of the things that Katrina and I ran into when we were traveling Christmas a couple of years ago, we were in Zurich, and we realized that the Swiss franc had a very similar exchange rate of almost 1 franc for one full U.S. dollar. And we were like, "Hey, this is going to be fantastic!" And then we got to the airport, and we realized that, well, it's $9 for a Happy Meal. So it was a little bit of a sticker shock. So not only are you dealing with the sticker shock of being at the airport, but it really depends on where you're at. You're going to be paying more at an airport in LAX than say you'd pay at the airport in Pittsburgh or someplace in the southeast. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're traveling. If you're going to have a long flight, be prepared to either eat before you go to the airport and then have snacks to hold your kid over. And the other thing is uh, long flights. We have a flight coming up soon. We've ordered Maverick the children's meal. They're going to give it to him. We don't know what's going to be in it for him to eat. I've seen where it's basically like a fruit plate, cheese plate, things like that. Things that are small, easy for children to chew up on the plane, so that they reduce any risk of choking. Definitely don't want to deal with something like that. So something else to keep in mind, that it's easy for your child to eat, chew, swallow on the plane. Uh, the other thing, really kind of want to talk about is uh, if you look through TSA security information, you're going to see that they have this 3-1-1 rule. Really, what it comes down to is you're allowed 3.4 ounces of liquids, and you can carry multiple bottles of 3.4, but they have to fit into a 1 quart size bag. There are some exemptions. I'm going to talk about this in a later video where I actually talk about traveling through security. But to this point, uh, anything that is considered nourishment for babies or toddlers is exempt from this rule. But in all good things done by the U.S. government, they state that a reasonable amount. They don't define what a reasonable amount is, and I guess it depends on how many children you're traveling with, things like that. But they do leave it to some subjectivity. So it could be the TSA agent that says, nope, you've got more juice than what's needed. The one thing that they are not supposed to do is they're not supposed to throw out breast milk or formula. When you do travel, you can ask that it not be x-rayed. Uh, Food and Drug Administration, another air quotes reputable government agency right now, said that you can X-ray breast milk without any deleterious effects to the milk, but you can say that you don't want it to be X-rayed, and it is subject to any kind of additional screening. They might ask for samples of it to do tests. They might swipe the bag that it's in for explosives, things like that. So just be prepared for that. But they cannot force you to X-ray milk or juice or things like that if you say that you don't want it to happen. So you do have that right. If they do start to push back on you, make sure that you do get a supervisor over there. Supervisors are supposed to be familiar with the rules. It's not to say that they're not going to side with their workers. You've seen this. It doesn't really matter who you are. Movie stars, celebrities, things like that. They've had similar situations. But I will say this. What I have found is that when I go through security, I go through and I treat them like they're doing their job. I don't try to be a jerk just because I'm a traveler. I try to respect them because they're doing their job in their territory. So I have found that if you are a little bit more respectful to the TSA agents, then they will treat you with the same level of respect. Uh, so these are some things to consider when you do get ready to travel with your kids. You are able to take snacks. Uh, there is going to be food options typically, depending on the size of the airport you're traveling out of, but you do need to be prepared for the sticker shock. And you are allowed to take juice and breast milk, things like that. And one other point on the breast milk just came to me is you don't have to have the child with you to carry breast milk. Business women that maybe pump their milk while they're away from their child, you don't, and your TSA can't say, well, you don't have a child with you, you can't carry the breast milk. They don't have that authority. So, and it is even stated on the TSA website that the child does not have to be with the mother to carry the breast milk. So that's another concern that should be relieved. Like I said, a lot of information is on the TSA website, but there might be questions. You might need some clarification. And what I have found is that TSA and Customs and Border Patrol, they are really, in the past, have been really responsive through Twitter DMs. So if you were to go on Twitter, send them a direct message, they would get back to you fairly quickly with the response. So that's another avenue if you are looking for clarification. So hope everybody finds the information that I've given you useful. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those below in the comments. You can on Facebook, One Ride on This Roller Coaster. You can drop some comments or questions in there. Also, you can message me on Twitter. So once again, look forward to feedback. You guys go ahead and send me some ideas on things that you would like some information on. We do some videos on those, or maybe it's just something we do through chat. Get everybody involved. So until the next time, everybody stay safe, look out for one another, and enjoy your travels.